You may have heard of the book Good to Great by Jim Collins. It's one of the best-selling business books of all time and to date has sold over 4 million copies. And in it, he just looks at companies that made the jump from good performance to really great performance and what each of them did. And he comes up with a handful of principles. And the first principle is make sure you've got the right leadership. You've got to have the right leader because it all starts with leadership. The second one is get the right people on the bus, as he calls it. The third one is get the wrong people off the bus. So making that jump from good to great is first all about people. You have to have the right people on the bus. You have to have the wrong people off the bus. You've got to have right leadership. It's always about seats and getting right people in right seats. In the book, he says, first who, then what. So if you're looking at your organization, you don't say, what do we do and what things need to be changed? You first begin by asking who questions. Do we have the right people? Are they in the right roles? What Jim Collins discovered in Good to Great is that businesses filled with stars or A players or great people, however you want to describe them, outperform businesses that don't by between 3 and 10 times. It's really, really significant. That's why I said at the beginning of the course, I want to say right people in right seats is everything. It's maybe not everything, but it's really, really important. In 1978, founders Kip Tindall and Garrett Boone started a company called The Container Store. And they decided that they wanted to, and I quote, work with higher paid smart people rather than lower paid dumb people. Ouch, probably don't say that today, but in 1978, that was fine. See, they had a foundational belief. They said that 1 great person equals 3 good people, and they only wanted to work with great people. So to do that, they offered a lot more training than industry average, they paid higher wages, and they looked for people who were already raving fans of the business. I met and interviewed one of their managers from the Pacific Northwest, and she told me that in a recent store opening, they had 4,000 applicants for 40 positions because people so valued working there. In an industry where the average employee doesn't stay a single year, they have about a 10% turnover rate, and a full third of all their hires come from referral. Remember, 1 great person equals 3 good people. The more great people you have, the more great people you attract. Having wrong people in seats has a really detrimental effect on the business. First, wrong people drive away your best people. Because if you're a good person and you've got a good attitude and you're working hard and you have to work with, or worse, for someone who's a wrong fit, who's the wrong person for the role, eventually you're going to leave because life just becomes too short. Wrong fits make it difficult to recruit good people, and you may not even know it. You may just think, man, we're in a tough labor market. Why can't I retain anybody? Why can't I find good people? Maybe it's because you've got some jerks working for you, and word on the street is that you've got some really difficult people, and so potential candidates would just rather go elsewhere. Wrong fits train others in their evil ways. If, heaven forbid, they get into leadership, it's really detrimental because they mentor other people to behave just like them. And wrong fits make you want to quit. Do you ever feel like you're burned out? Ask yourself this, are you working too hard? Or is it that you're working with some really difficult people? Most likely it's the latter. Not only is there an emotional cost, but there's also a major financial cost to having wrong fits stay in your business. A receptionist can cost up to 3 times their annual salary. A sales representative can cost up to 5 times annual salary. A manager up to 15 times, and a CEO, it's really limitless, up to maybe 30 times annual salary. But imagine what Apple would look like if Steve Jobs had not been the CEO. It's much, much more than 30 times. So it's very, very expensive to have wrong people in seats. Let's explore the financial cost of having a wrong fit a little bit more. These costs might seem high. You might think, a salesperson, 5 times annual salary? There's no way. But let's consider the actual costs associated with having a wrong person in that sample sales role. First, paying severance when you finally have to lose them. That's not cheap. Lost productivity due to the emotional toll that's taken on the team. All the gossip, the upset when you lose that person because somebody liked them there probably. Running ads or paying recruiters to replace them. All the sourcing and all the effort that goes into sourcing. Vetting resumes, going through the whole interview process. causing good people to leave you, driving away your best because your best really don't want to work with wrong fits. There are still more costs to our sample sales role. There are mistakes due to incompetence, errors that they make, maybe repeated errors. There's missing opportunities for growth because they just don't have the horsepower to think of them. Being unable to interest good clients. They can't get the meeting because they're just not of that caliber. They're just a wrong fit. Losing clients, and sometimes you don't even know that you've lost a client because they say, you know what, let's take part of our business somewhere else. So it's hard to even measure how many clients that you've lost due to a wrong fit, but you know that you've lost some. And how about keeping you focused on internal issues rather than on you being productive? Because you know that it takes so much headspace that you can't think of all the things that you should be thinking about. You can't work on those innovative projects that you want to do to really advance what you're doing. You've got to be stuck down in the mire of dealing with this wrong fit and trying to coach and train and sort out that wrong person in the seat. It's really, really expensive when you actually do the math. There's a big financial cost to having wrong fits. But what if it's not 5 times for a salesperson? What if you don't buy that number? What if it's only 2 times annual salary? And that salesperson costs, let's say, $70,000 a year. Let's just pick a number out of the air. It only costs you $140,000. This is a major cost. What if it's only 1 time annual salary? It costs you $70,000. What I'm just trying to say is having wrong fits is a huge cost. No matter how you look at it, it's going to be very, very expensive.